Up From Work podcast. My name's Dave Swillem. Let's get ready to hustle.
Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to the Waking Up From Work podcast. This is episode 59 today of the podcast, and wanted to bring you some more current things that are going on in the world as we go here for those that are tuning in on the Instagram when we tracked this, or right now in podcasting, keeping you up with some of the things that are changing with all of these things. So, and for those in the future, I still think you're going to get some value from hearing this, but wanted to talk to online music festivals because I've had the pleasure of being a part of them recently, and I think that they are an amazing thing. Also think that there's a lot of other amazing things that are happening to keep people engaged online, and I know that we talked a little bit with Aaron Newhart before about events online and events in general, and have talked to some other people here, but wanted to bring that to the local level of some really amazing things I'm seeing in my local scene, local to Concord, New Hampshire, and the Granite State, which is obviously a tiny state for those of you who haven't been here. And these things are happening all around us in the smallest towns and in the scenes. And wanted to share some of these awesome wins of ways that we are stimulating and keeping the scene engaged, keeping that community and growing it even during these times. So today I wanted to chat it up with the founder of the Granite State Online Music Festival, Curtis Arnett, good friend of mine, great musician, great supporter of the scene here in Concord, New Hampshire, and wanted to chat about what it's like starting one of these things and what we think about how that's going to go into the future here. So let's hang. Welcome back to the Waking Up From Work podcast. You're listening to episode 59 today of the podcast. No Ryan today. There's some family stuff that he's got to tackle that actually sucks a lot. So my heart out to you, Rye guy. But I am hanging out with my friend Curtis here. So if you guys watched the other night, I did the first live stream show that I've ever done with my personal band Broadwing on our own page, and it got shared out from another page called Granite State Online Music Festival, which I actually will be playing myself on Saturday. So I really wanted to get online here and chat with the founder and a good friend of mine, Curtis Arnett. You live in Concord, right? You're a Concord boy through and through?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Right on, dude. Curtis, I met, what do you think, 2 years ago now? Is that where we're at?
Yeah. That's right. We met
through Nick?
Recording Nick's EP, right?
Yeah. You actually were in the studio with us, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah. I went down there to hang out with Nick and ended up, I think, playing saxophone or something, and that was a fun night. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So for those of you out there that have been listening to some of the other episodes, we have definitely been diving into different topics since COVID hit and trying to kind of go on the run here and shout out content to you that is helpful to give you ideas, as well as helpful just to entertain you or give you hope or think about. And we've been trying to cover a bunch of these different topics as we go here, because obviously it's such a fluid situation. It's creating these very fluid, day by day changes in every different state. So we've covered, the events industry in general. We've covered getting digital really quickly. We've covered doing things for free in a time where people may not have as much money, but you can build a ton of value to get ready for a boom later. We've just jumped into a bunch of these different topics. So I figured talking with Curtis and participating in this myself this week and seeing firsthand what's going on in the music world of this, really wanted to also now talk about music live streams. We talked with, or not with, but about Tim Messina from Events United and Studio Lab did that Dropkick Murphys live stream that absolutely crushed it when he was pivoting from an events company into a live streaming events company at a time where it was just fresh into that, and we're trying to figure out what is it that we can do for St. Paddy's Day, right? Now we're getting to the local level of every single musician out there trying to figure out, how do I keep my fan base engaged? How do I still bring income in as an artist? How do I still engage with my fans in a way that's really fun for them, that provides a night and escape and a thing for them to do and be a part of, what at this time where I can't see people. And that is where we see Granite State Online Music Festival. Welcome, man. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Crazy circumstances have forced a lot of people in the music world to adapt. And so that's something that's been on my mind a lot recently. And that's what led to this festival and greater things beyond, perhaps. We'll see.
So like what I'm sure that we can see to some extent, for those that don't know Curtis, he is like the go-to band guy in Concord. He's part of like 7 bands. So like you will see him at some point if you're around the Concord, New Hampshire music scene, you're just going to see this guy in bars. So I'm sure that we can see like you as a person and see why you would be like the perfect person to kind of do something like this. But like, what was the exact thought where it made it like a thing for you where you're like, I'm 100% doing this? Like what clicked for you and you're like, I got to do this. I need to start this. Like what happened? Where were you at?
When the lockdown started, I started thinking, I'd been interested in streaming before, not only music, but like I'm into like gaming and stuff like that. And seen a lot of people do streaming in that world.
Yeah.
Live music venues shut down. I sort of got the idea. I saw my roommate Senny did a different online music festival put on by this girl named Auburn in Nashville. And so this is sort of modeled after that and also sort of inspired by other things.
Senny's crushing it, dude.
Senny's great.
That guy's all over the place too. You two are a good pair to live together, I guess.
That's right. Yeah. He's actually, I'm sitting in my bedroom because he is doing a live stream concert right now.
Oh my God.
It's funny. You asked me to do this on a Thursday night and I was like, yeah, I'm free. Like I was trying to think what else is going on. Then I realized he's, making music in our basement right now, but,
nice.
I was chatting with my parents and they were kind of like, so what have you been up to? And I was like, oh, not much. And, they actually kind of suggested it as like a way to, support artists financially and, provide the community with some entertainment. And they were convinced me that I was the person who should do it. A couple days later, I was on my way, starting to reach out to people. To see.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. And like, we talked like a little bit before the show. It makes sense for you to, with your pieces, it really makes sense for you because you're saying like you do a little bit of this social media and marketing and online things for your father's small business, right? We just talked about how you're a player in the scene here in Concord. You just are out all the time. You are in 7 bands. All those 7 bands all know people and you're always out and around. So you're taking kind of the scene that you know and that you're an active player in, and then you're taking the tools that you're able to use and just putting them together in a way to fit the situation. So it makes sense, dude, to me.
Yeah, it is a task that I think requires me to wear a few different hats. So it's been good to be connected in the music scene. It's the first festival had 24 acts, and the second one coming up on Saturday has 20 additional unique acts. So it'll be 44 after 2 festivals.
Oh my God!
So that's
it's a lot going on.
I'm fortunate enough to to some of these people I've just recently met, but a lot of these are folks like you that I've known for some time and have been willing to put some time into this, which is awesome. But yeah, it also requires organization skills, communication. Like I said, working in an office has helped. I've got like spreadsheets for this thing. It's becoming an operation.
That's crazy. Spreadsheets like for time slots and like what people are doing and things like that.
Yeah. After
after 12 hours of legit sitting there, like, dude, I was thinking about your day because I was like, I know the page has to share. For those of you that if you didn't check out the music festival yet or you haven't seen one like it, the page shares when the bands go live, like each time, right? You have to actually share from their page, which doesn't sound dreadful until you think about you when I'm walking around that Saturday and I'm like bopping around every once in a while. I'm like jumping in, I'm watching like one of the artists that I want to see. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to go work on something or whatever. But then when I think about it and I'm like, no, Curtis is sitting his ass down somewhere watching 12 hours of music or somehow timing it out right so that he comes back and he's sharing shit every half hour. That's daunting, dude. That's a lot of work. It doesn't seem like it if you don't think about it, but when you go granular, it's a lot of work, I'm sure.
I plan my bathroom breaks strategically. Yeah. So just a quick summary. It takes place on Facebook. We have a Facebook page for the festival, and basically we have a schedule of artists throughout the day who will live stream on Facebook, and then we share it. The festival page sort of brings people together. Fans from one act discover other bands or other artists, and it's sort of a virtual music festival. So yeah, I am behind the scenes live, and my job is essentially to share these streams. I try and be on point about it. So right when the clock hits 2:00 or whatever, I click share, and yeah, it's funny. I mean, it's not like hard work, but it requires me to be available for it's a long day, but a fun day.
Yeah, you're not up on a roof like roofing. You're not like outside like building a house, but it's like 12 hours of like being emotionally and mentally available and like sequencing things. Like that's definitely something where like I would go to bed and be tired for sure.
Yeah, no, I was tired at the end of it. I was like, I'm exhausted after sitting in a computer chair all day, but something that, the attention require, because as much as we have fun, I still want it to be of a professional quality, I suppose. So I want it to be on point also.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right on, man. So what do you see? We have this going. We're now about to hit the second show in Saturday. More people are starting to find out about it. We're talking about this like a little bit beforehand, but like, what do you see as the future for this? Like, say I'm just going to say my opinion. I think we still got like a little bit. I think we got a ways of like things are going to be weird for us where we're still might be doing this because we have to. Like, who knows when the events are coming back, when we're slow to open up farther away from people. What do you see happens with this? I've talked on some of the episodes before now about how this will fundamentally change the way that humans act in every single capacity. It will change the way that we do things because we essentially what this did is it cleaned up the scraps of people who were like holding back from digital or didn't know.
Yeah.
And it just pushed it forward. And moving forward, dude, it's like we've had Zoom, we've had Skype, we've had the ability to work from home for like 15 years. A lot of businesses have had the capacity to. We've had the ability to play and stream online our concerts. We've had the ability to do all these things. All of a sudden, when we have to do them, we have to learn it, we have to do it, then we're catapulted that way. What's your plan or what's your thoughts of is this still going to be a thing when we have the ability to go back into a room and go to a bar and grab beers and stuff? Do these still happen? Like, what are your thoughts on it? What's your vibe?
Yeah, it's funny. Originally, the plan was to do this once, and I remember feeling rushed about it because I wanted to do it early enough because I was afraid that lockdown was going to end and people were going to start going out and nobody would want to sit at home. But of course, here we are in early May, and a ton of places are still shut down. I mean, when you think about so many of the settings for music that we play in, small to medium sized room, inside, a lot of people, it's a total nightmare as far as like the epidemiology side of things. Like when we know what we know about the virus spreading, and it's, the worst case scenario is a large group of people in a small room inside. So my cynical take is that live music will be one of the last things to return to pre-pandemic.
I agree. 100% agree with that, dude.
So, okay, so that's going on, and that's still a huge question mark. So, I mean, my plan is to keep this going at least that long. And that said, like, why not go? I think there will still be a demand for live streaming when things are back to normal. And I don't think it'll be, on a Tuesday we're all locked down, and on a Wednesday, like, everything's like, it's going to be gradual. So I'm interested in what we could do for live music streaming or other kind of live streaming, just in general, because I think it's a technology, like you said, this technology has existed for some time, but some people are hip to it and some people are not. Now everyone knows, if you say Zoom or Skype, everyone knows. Like, I've seen people I would never imagine, willingly, doing like a Skype call, like doing it very comfortably because the situation kind of, we don't have a choice at the moment.
Yeah.
People have adapted and already, a few weeks into this thing, I think technology that was foreign to a lot of people has been normalized in a lot of ways.
Right.
And that's really exciting when you consider local, music for most of us is a very DIY thing right now. And so
absolutely, now is the time.
Sorry, another technology that helps that is exciting.
I think that, like I was saying earlier, my first live stream show that I ever did was on Tuesday night for a single release for my band. And it was definitely fucking weird, dude. Like, no joke. It was definitely weird to, like, I think I noted on it during the performance. Like, when you end a song, you're so used to hearing like applause. And then when you end the song and it's quiet and you do that, you're like, now it feels extra awkward because I know people are watching me, but I can't get the direct reaction, And then it was just I don't know, it was just a different experience in terms of like subtle things like that I wouldn't have realized unless I literally did this exact experience, because you can practice and you don't expect applause, right? When you do live, you're like used to applause, and you're used to like your stage banter where like you say it and then someone's like, yeah. You're like, hey, who's ever gone on a trip before? It's like someone's like, yeah, I've gone on a trip before. You do your like banter when you're tuning and shit. The people are answering through comments and you're like, right? 5575 Jake, like, you get it, and like you kind of adapt to it. But what I do like about it, and what I like about what these circumstances have done for people, like with what you're saying with, making this less foreign, demystifying technology pieces that maybe we weren't trying to learn or not using as much. What I like about it is it felt like we just made digital a lot warmer than it's ever been. people are using technology to come together because it's the only way that they can right now, where I really felt like a stagnation in social and a stagnation in forums and in all these online places that people would congregate, groups, anything. I felt a stagnation in it before this happened, where it's like we were all there anyway, but we weren't really like there to really connect. It's more like it was just like noise and shit happening. Whereas, and that's not like an absolute, like, of course there's connections happening. There's things happening through that before, but now it's like when I played that live show the other night, I was talking to people through the chat, like in real time, the whole time for an hour. I talked to people after it. I did like, Instagram split screens like that, to have a beer with someone on Cinco de Mayo, to have a beer with some fans on Cinco de Mayo. That's shit that like, I've never been that warm in digital in that way, where like I'm truly using it to connect with people because I crave people and I have no other way to get them right now. So I do like that, despite the circumstances, a music festival like this, it's like, there's no doubt me as a performer, me as a fan, I would rather be at a festival any day of the week where I can sit in a big old audience and feel that energy. I don't believe that there's anything that can replace that feeling when the lights go down, when the band is just like, you literally feel the energy go back and forth. It's unreal. And you and me both know that as performers, like we probably both got into what we do because we are addicted to that fucking drug, dude. But totally. An online music festival and this warmth and this community being sucked into supporting this is awesome to see. And I'm really hoping that it will move forward. And I honestly believe that it will move forward. And I do believe that streaming is going to be now more of like a common like entertainment almost, where I'm noticing through this, I have watched through what I want to watch in Netflix or Hulu, or like I'm checked out, dude. I'm fucking good. I'm watching the Office the second time, which I know that a lot of people have outdone me there, but I'm all good, and I'm looking for like, how can I stay entertained? And I'm doing like mastermind groups, and I'm Zoom calling with people to learn shit from other people. I'm doing webinars to go and learn shit from people in education. I'm doing online classes. I'm doing, exactly what we are talking about, online music festivals. I'm watching my friends play on a Saturday when I'm walking around my yard. And I think that this will become actually a piece of entertainment for people more after this. What do you think about that? Do people start watching these things more, even though they can go to a show because stay in their PJs and they now can still watch that show? Does this help indie artists in that way?
One of the assumptions I sort of operate under doing the whole festival thing is that there is no true replacement for physically being at a live event, right?
Sure.
Like you said, when you're in the room, hearing the feedback, smelling the sweat, like, bumping shoulders with people, like there's no replacement for that.
No way.
That said, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with live streaming and, digital media in general, to create an entertaining, fulfilling experience. Case in point, this first festival that we did last Saturday, which was super fun, all the way till the end. Like you said, like people are, talking to each other in the chat rooms, and it's like, friends who like used to get together at a certain bar, but they're like physically isolated right now, but they're able to get together and talk here. And like you said, the performers are interacting, and it you sort of forget that. I heard multiple people say that like that was the most fun I've had since like the last time I was able to go out.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen that too.
It's exactly what we're going for. That's exactly the feeling that I want to create doing this.
That's awesome, dude. I saw that as well, where people were like, I didn't plan on this to be fun like that. And then it's like when you start engaging with like the comments where people are saying things back and forth, and you start like putting like a lot of effort into it too. Like on mine, I set up fucking everything, dude. I set up all my stage lights, my merch rack, my PA. Like I set up everything that I would normally set up for a live show. And then I did it as if it was a live show and the same way that I always would. And I think people are seeing more in it than they thought.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you were to take a look at my basement right now and see the production setup that Senny has, like to do the streams from down there, it's he's got all, lighting, he's got his audio rig. I mean, he's taking it to the next level with the audio, where he's going into real mics, sending that into like a audio interface, so it's becoming a real production, which is cool. It means people are taking it seriously and trying to put out a quality product. I mean, I think that's definitely something that we see changing with this medium, is more people are coming in and doing it right. When I first started doing live streams, I was doing gigs with bands, and I would just take my phone and stand it up next to us, and maybe it would get half the band and it would be dark and you wouldn't be able to see, and of course the audio would be terrible because it would be way too loud for the microphone.
Yeah.
But it's I think the standard of quality for what someone should be doing with this technology is the bar will be raised. So that's the exciting part of it. See this whole thing evolve.
And I even talked to my wife on the opposite of what you just said in terms of the bar being raised as well, where I think that, even the people that are just using their phone in that vertical way that's cutting off half the band or something like that, I still think that that's super impactful, because I think that this time has really brought out the craving for authenticity. Like people they absolutely don't want bullshit right now. They just don't want bullshit. Like people are dealing with so much shit right now that everyone wants to be talked to like normal and be a human being together, because we're all facing a common enemy basically together as a human race, right? So I think having that phone on and having someone in there, because you're seeing it from huge artists too, right? You are seeing huge artists doing live streams from their house too, because they're in the same boat. And you're seeing, I think I was talking to, who was I talking to? Christian Lacoste the other day. We were on a Zoom call talking audio stuff. He's talking about how MGK is doing like a bunch of stuff from his. And then I talked to someone else, and I think it was, it's one of those older, pop punk bands, but they're in their house and they're doing shit with just their phone and stuff like that. And people love it because they're seeing a side of an artist that they might not have seen behind these like professional photos, professional music videos before. Now they might just have a phone, and they also like that shit too, because they're like, oh, I've never seen this side of this person just legit in their house right now with an acoustic, and they just want to connect with me, a more personal note.
Yeah. I mean, that's the great thing about it, is it's super easy to sort of get in at the ground level, so to speak, like to, I mean, all it takes is to start streaming is a device and an internet connection, and that's part of the charm, right? Is the relatability of seeing someone sit down in their living room, put their phone up, and it's it has like a degree of intimacy that like TV and film doesn't have, and it's I guess a different vibe than like a live music venue. But yeah, that's one of the things that makes it so powerful, is it is you can take it very seriously, with the equipment, and you make it very professional quality, but you don't have to get started doing it.
Yeah.
And there's always been segments of the musical world that thrive on the sort of like DIY vibe and like the indie scene, the punk scene, and I see this as these kind of performances seem perfect for that. It's really cool, like how easy it is to get started doing it. Also, how elaborate you can get, and how far you can take it, and really get carried away. I mean, I keep going back to the sort of like production side of it, like the gear. I guess that's sort of I've been on Sweetwater all day, so that's just where my head's at right now. But
oh, dude, I'm an audio engineer. I'll gear slut around all day long, and I'll ruin like every conversation to talk about compressors. But at the same time, like, dude, like honestly, there's a piece of equipment that I found that's like perfect for streaming like high quality audio into my phone. And I was like this close to like overnighting it for my live stream on Tuesday. And then I was like, I don't want to do that yet, because I'm still trying to see how long this is going to go. But also, just to our point of like what we said earlier, I don't think I'm ever going to stop live streaming shows now. So I might as well fucking buy it, because it's gonna be a part of life now, I think. But I was just reading, let's see, it is Caitlin's comment. She says, nothing beats a live event, but this live video feed is satisfying in its own way. Coming from someone that usually sees 2 to 3 live events a week, it's keeping me going, satisfying that itch in ways. So, I mean, that's like exactly what that's what we've been jiving on, dude. We were saying like, it's not the same thing as like when you're in a room of a bunch of sweaty people with a shitty PBR and you got someone ripping it up. It's just a different thing, but it still feels good. And you know what?
Yeah.
Like going back to your comment, like circling back, like when you're talking about Senny playing that online music festival in Nashville, here's where I think the opportunity is for indie artists moving forward, and why it should keep happening is think about what you just said, where it's not like right now, like, I mean, Senny is a crazy player. He probably does or could go play in Nashville any time of his life. But it's like, think about how he, without having to spend money as an indie artist, was able to now get eyes from a bunch of fucking organic people in Nashville whoever is hosting that thing, just like you're a hub of music in Concord, someone from Nashville from their house right now could get exposure to tons and tons and tons of people in Concord, New Hampshire without spending any money to tour. That's powerful as fuck, dude. People haven't been doing that before. Now, if all of these little like music festivals, these little digital music festivals, they should stay, because I think about myself, right? When I get back to it, I can play shows again. I'm going to want to play like crazy, because now I'm all strung up in here. I'm going to go play. I'm probably going to go do a tour in the summer if that's possible, like a week tour or something, because I got to get out and play and see people like crazy. But on the same time, when I get a little bit of angst out, how fucking cool would it be is like a local artist, you're a New Hampshire boy, right? So we've got Boston, that's wonderful, but it's not easy to get to Nashville or LA or New York City, kind of, but it's not always easy for us to do that. How cool would it be if I play Concord, I'm going to play a Concord show, I'm going to play a Manch open mic, I'm doing my normal things to like kind of spread out a little bit, I'm playing in Boston, I'm doing whatever. Then I do a live stream show and showcase. I'm now, whereas like say I went to play in Nashville, I would be the local opener. I'd be playing like a 30-minute set in front of people that don't know me. I maybe have like 3 to 5 to 10 people I can draw out there. Like I don't personally have like a crazy big band, but I have people that I could probably draw in Nashville, just not a lot. I'm probably gonna get like 5-10 people out max at a show. If I do an online festival and I'm associated in that ring, I don't have to make that commute down there. I don't have to know all those bands and try to work connections and try to figure out that scene. Those people are going to be connected in, and they're going to be watching the sit with no money. That's a crazy opportunity for indie artists to start getting big eyes, big attention without money, which we all know is just tough as an indie artist. It's not easy to pay the bills all the time when you're pushing like that.
Yeah, when you think about when you talk to people who have toured a lot, I've never done like a formal tour, so to speak. I've travel to play music a little bit.
Yeah.
But like a real tour as far as, spending a week or weeks or months out on the road to like really get your name out there. You think about everything that goes into that: money, resources, time. The rap on tour is that it's a blast, but it's exhausting. And
I've done 2 1-week tours, dude. And a 1-week tour alone is brutal. So people that are touring 3 months and fucking the year and stuff, like, I absolutely don't get it. And obviously it's harder as like a local artist when you have like a Ford Explorer with a cargo trailer and you're sleeping in Walmarts in July. That's not as hard as like Stone Temple Pilots, who all have their own like individual bus that they're driving, but that's fucking hard, dude. It's not easy touring. It's not, it's a blast, but you're right. It's not easy.
Yeah. Most of us are not Stone Temple Pilots. So we're left to, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the really cool. I mean, this is just the internet, right? I mean, this allows you to reach an audience anywhere from your living room or your studio. And how you find those people is it's a different story. Like I've, dabbled in web marketing. I mean, these festivals I've, done, a little bit of marketing. I'm not, really reaching out, I'm not trying to like get fans in Germany yet. If somebody in Germany wants, that's great. I'm not putting resources into acquiring fans across the world, but it's something you can do. And
that's cool.
It's something we're able to do. And I know we've already reached people across the country with this, and friend Bobby's going to be the first out of state performer. So the Granite State Online Music Festival is already going national. And,
nice.
But it's so powerful to be able to reach a national, international audience, and forget, being there physically, even like, before the internet, like TV and radio, that, those are very sort of established institutions where, like, if you're a band trying to get on the radio, that required a lot of work. You had to first have someone who was willing to record you, because the technology to record on your own didn't exist then.
Right.
You had to have someone who was willing to pay for you to record in a recording studio. And
Big
then
money.
You had to have someone who liked it enough to try to pitch it to a radio station. And then the radio station had to like it enough to put it on the air.
Right.
That's a lot of checkpoints to get through just to get your stuff on the airwaves. And, what the internet does and live streaming is it basically bypasses all of that. And it says
barrier to entry is gone, dude.
Yeah. Anyone with a device and an internet connection can get their name out there. And you might have, half a dozen people watching at first or listening, and you can go from there. But it's much easier to sort of get your foot in the door as far as getting your content out there now, which is great.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, I have a couple questions that I asked at the end of the episode. Unless there's anything, is there anything else that you wanted to share with the audience? I have like some questions I usually ask people at the end.
I guess I'll just do the formal plug for the festival and Granite State Online Music Festival. It's on Facebook. So you can find us facebook.com/GSOMF20. And the plan is to do these every other Saturday. Yeah. A bunch of really great musical acts, whole day of music, all in one place. Anything from, country, rock, folk, hip hop, electronic, a lot of variety. Go listen to some live music, support the artists if you're able to. we're having a lot of fun with these, so we invite you to come do the same.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you haven't seen my band yet, I will be playing acoustic solo on that May 9th show.
Yes.
At 5:30. And you can watch me play guitar, even though I'm the bassist. So, that is what it is. But all right, cool. So I have 5 questions that I ask Curtis at the end of the episodes, and you kind of answered some of it, but don't think too hard on it. Kind of give like whatever is at the top of your head for these answers. Okay. So, and a lot of them are usually like even deeper than kind of like too deep for what we're talking on right now, but because this is so recent. Okay. But first one would be, what made you pursue this? Like I know that we were talking, you're like, I hope this becomes more, like I plan for it to become more, like who knows, right? What made it so that, I know that your parents kind of gave you a nudge and said, hey, this would be a fucking cool thing for you to do. But what made it so you're like, you know what, I'm going to sit there for 12 hours and plan out bathroom breaks to make this happen? Why is this a thing for you that you are going to go through everything that you're putting in for effort and time to do this? Why for you?
The fact that I enjoy doing it is huge. This is something that I want to do. It's that old self-help cliche of like, do what you love and, money will follow or whatever. My amendment to that is, sort of find the meeting place of doing what you love and what is worthwhile doing, as far as, if it's a job, find the meeting place between what is fun and also makes money. If it, or maybe it's bring your community together in some way. As soon as I started seeing this, the way this could impact a lot of people in a positive way,
right?
I didn't really. There was no lack of motivation after that point.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it definitely impacts people in a positive way. People need this right now.
I like to think that it does. We've gotten a lot of really nice feedback from people, and that makes me feel great because it's been fantastic. I've been really, really surprised by, people saying, "Oh, this is the highlight of my weekend," or I discovered this other band at the festival and I absolutely love them, and I never would have heard them if it wasn't for this thing. So yeah, it's great.
Okay, so what, like along the way, because you did the first one, now you're heading into the second one. Is there anything that you learned? Like, say someone else out there wants to start a music festival of their own online, or they're a performer. Do you have any advice for anyone out there that you've learned either from you or like the people participating so far that you're like, hey, when you do this or you try to do this, like don't do these things. Those things sucked. Anything you learned that were like, don't do this thing?
There's a couple, there's a couple minor things with like the Facebook platform. It's advice very specific to it, but I suppose there's a lot of people who would potentially use Facebook Live. So I could throw a couple tips out. Film in landscape mode. Learn like lighting 101, like photo or film lighting. You don't have to become like a genius, but just
make it so people can see you.
Yes. Yeah.
That sucks when they can't.
Think about simple stuff like your camera angle. There are some cool streaming tricks. It's not even that revolutionary, but I'll say this. One of the necessary things you need to do to get good at playing music is to listen to music. And so I think one of the things that has helped me become a better streamer and understand streaming better has been to check out other people streaming and sort of absorb some cool stuff that they're doing. finding ways to, borrow things and do them in an original way. But, go check some stuff out and see what the possibilities are.
Cool. All right. So flip side of it, what's like the best part, the best idea you've had so far in the process of this? Like, what's the best thing that's happened?
I could give you a lot of answers. One thing I haven't mentioned so far is one of the great things about this is that most of these performers are professional performers, and so who have been put out of work. And so, it's been good to give them a chance to get back to work a little bit, so to speak, which has been awesome.
Right. I see the tip jars out there.
Yeah.
I alone, like, thank you to anyone out there that did buy any merch, but like I sold a bunch of merch on Tuesday. It's like, how the fuck could I have sold any merch?
Yeah.
If I didn't do something like that? It's amazing, dude.
Yeah. And then, organizing the event, I was like, I thought about like the charitable aspect of it. And I kicked around the idea of Kickstarter for, like a food bank or something like that. And I ended up saying, like, well, let's see what happens. And sort of organically, 2, 3, 4 of our artists just decided to set up, charity dono things in their live streams. So we raised like $180 for Concord Hospital. We raised more money for it's like a community housing organization in Laconia. There was another performer who like raised money for a local food bank, I believe. So that's something really cool and positive.
I saw Lucas Gallo is doing something for Best Buddies.
Yes, yeah, he was.
Shout out to Best Buddies, big program for us.
Yeah. He was one of the performers in the first. I believe he was the one raising money for Concord Hospital, which is
nice.
Awesome.
Good guy.
Yeah. So
good player.
Yes. Yeah. Lucas is not only a great musician, but big part of like the local Concord and beyond music scene. He does a lot of, he's always sharing stuff on Facebook. Like when I post like I got a gig or something, he's I believe also booking local music at the Bank of New Hampshire stage, which is beautiful state of the art music venue. And
I had no idea that he was doing that. That's awesome.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Right on, man. I got 2 more for you. One you pretty much answered, but what would be like, what's a good resource out there for people that want to do this? Like, is there any like specific place that they should check out? Should they just check out what you're doing? Like, where should they check if they want to do an online music festival or if they want to play one?
There's a Facebook group called Online Music Festivals. I'm part of it. That's a great place to start. I mean, Facebook has been really cool for that in general. Just connecting with people who share a very niche interest with you. Other than that, it's I've been sort of pulling little tidbits of knowledge out of like you said in the beginning, like a lot of these skills are kind of stuff that I've had from various stuff that I've done before this.
Right.
So, do what you're good at. And, I've also collaborated with people on this and gotten help from people. And, what do you think of this poster? Definitely don't be afraid to ask for help.
Well, man,
don't know how much help I can be. If anyone wants to reach out to me and ask, I'm more than happy to share advice.
So you already said it, but like just last, like, and it can be like other bands of yours and stuff. Like, where do people find you, Curtis, if they want to connect with you? They want to check out the festival, any of the bands you're in. Like, where, like Plug City. You know what I mean? Like, where do people keep up with Curtis Arnett? Like, what's up?
Yeah, so the festival is Granite State Online Music Festival, facebook.com/GSOMF20. I am on Facebook and Instagram as Curtis Arnett. come say hi to me. Active in a bunch of different bands that are putting stuff out there. Bozy Joe is doing live streams on Facebook and Twitch. We are quarantining right now, so right now it's just Aaron, but you can still check our stuff out. Could take another hour. Just so I'll just say, check out Bozy Joe, check out Trunk of Funk, check out Zoo Crew.
Yeah.
Check out She Funk, check out Heist. Whoever I'm forgetting is gonna get pissed at me. I'm doing some playing with Senny, so check Senny out. No, that's most of them.
Fan slut Curtis.
that is exactly what I am.
Yeah, it's the best though, dude. Like you're such a good dude that it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing to spread the love, to spread the Curtis Arnett. Cool, man. Well, dude, thank you for jumping on the Waking Up From Work podcast. I always have fun hanging and talking with you, so it's good. We haven't been in the scene for a bit, so I haven't bumped into you randomly at like 12 a.m. somewhere. So it's good to bump into you here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dave, for the chance to talk about everything. And this has been fun. I've really enjoyed this. So cheers.
First podcast. For those out there, this is Curtis's first podcast. You saw it here before he's world famous on the Waking Up From Work podcast. We broke the famous Curtis Arnett in. Awesome. Legendary. Right on. All right, guys, that's going to do it for episode 59 of the podcast. Really hope you got something out of today. I think that there's some cool shit happening, and you just need to keep an eye out for where and what's going on, because there's a lot of positive things that are happening here. Any musicians that haven't streamed yet or played on an online music festival of some sort, really encourage you to do it. It's something that I had never done before, and now I've done 3, and all of them, went really well. I sold merch. I got to interact and hang with people and talk with them on there, some new fans and things like that I'd never been in contact with and might not have been. So really encourage you to go out and get involved with something like this. Stay connected with your scene, because I don't know about your scene specifically, if it's different than mine, but I think the most amazing people are in my scene, and I want nothing but good things for them, and love nothing but seeing them do their thing, which is what they do best. So get out there, check that out. I'm going to put all those links in the show notes if you want to go check out all of Curtis's personal bands and this online music festival and everything in the way. So next week, we're going to be talking to Emily Aborn from the She Built This podcast. We talk about navigating business in couples, like couples of entrepreneurs, and going through those changes in life together. We talk about women entrepreneurs and some of the things that she's seen from interviewing so many strong women leaders in our state here. So that's going to be a good one on episode 60. Look forward to it. Have an awesome week. Peace, guys.